You get us started?
Yeah.
All right. Good morning.
Good morning.
I am home. I am home. I have traveled far along this road and now I'm home. Shalom, shalom. In the love of God, I am home. I am home. I am home. I have traveled far along this road and now I'm home. Shalom, shalom. In the love of God, I am home.
Good morning and welcome to Unity, spirituality with open hearts and open minds. And I am so glad to be back again. Yay! My gosh, I had one Sunday back and then the next day started feeling sick and turns out I had COVID. They gave me the antivirals, which helped me get better quicker, but it meant I also had a rebound. So a few days later, it all came back in spades and it is now clear. I am feeling better. One thing I really wanted to do was come in on Wednesday when Simon was here doing his meditation, and Spirit said, no, not yet. So I stayed home and watched it online, and I came in today and he said, I've left something on your desk. And he said, I got one for me and one for you. And it is Walking Awake on the Isle of Iona. It is a deck of inspirational cards with a matching book. And there's even a little stone from Iona in a little blue bag in here. And so as we prepare to sing Come Light, Light of God, I have got a passage that I picked for all of us this morning, from Iona and from Simon and from me. So let's sing Come Light, Light of God, and then light our Advent candle, and then I will read this to you, share you what the card is. So come light, light of God.
Come light, light of God.
Give light to creation, enlighten our hearts, and remain with your world. Come light, light of God, give light to creation, enlighten our hearts, and remain with your world. So I'll read this and then we'll do the Advent candles. So the card I drew from all of us is blessings. And it shows the water at the back of the bay beach, which is on the other side of the Iona Island golf course, where you have to watch out for the sheep and the Highland cows as you play golf. And it shows a rainbow touching the water. And it is about noticing blessings everywhere, sometimes where you least expect them. It takes a rainstorm on a sunny day to create a rainbow. And that's so true for all of us, that they're hidden in the ordinary surroundings, just waiting to be recognized. Notice them, be aware of them. And the wonderful quote comes from Abraham Joshua Heschel: just to be is a blessing, just to live is holy. And so blessings for you, one and all. And I cannot tell you how much the blessings of your prayers, your love, your support, your soup, your cards, everything meant to me. In the midst of COVID, which I would not necessarily call a blessing, there were amazing, amazing blessings abounding all around, including our beloved David, who gave messages 2 Sundays in a row beautifully and inspired us all. And as I watched him, I realized that as I set my wings down for a little bit, he spread his. So thank you, David. So if you'll light our Advent candles, he brings all of his love and presence as we do this. Do you want to sing Light One Candle before or after?
Well, just while you're doing it.
Okay, good. So the first, I'll explain the candles and then we'll sing it. So the first candle of Advent is for hope and faith. It also represents the light of the stones that lives in crystals and seashells and bones, faith and hope. The second candle for Advent is peace. It is the light of the plants that reach up to the sun and in the breezes dance. Peace. The third, that's today, is the light of love, and it represents the beasts who tread upon the earth and gave their stable for the birth of the Christ child, the animals that abide with us, love. And next week, we'll get to light the next candle, which will be joy. So let us now unite together and sing Light One Candle. And as you sing this, light your very own Advent candle in your heart that will guide you, inspire you, and comfort you this whole season of Advent.
Light one candle for hope, one bright candle for hope. Light one candle for peace, one bright candle for peace. Light one candle for love, one bright candle for love. He brings love to every heart. He comes, he comes.
And now, what child is this?
What child is this who laid to rest on Mary's lap, sleeping, whom angels greet with anthems sweet, while shepherds watch are keeping? This is Christ the King, whom shepherds guard and angels sing. Haste, haste to bring him, Lord, the babe, the Son of Mary. So bring him incense, gold, and myrrh. Come, peasant king, to own him. The King of kings, salvation bring. Let loving hearts enthrone him. This is Christ the King, whom shepherds guard and angels sing. Haste, haste to bring him, Lord, the babe, the Son of Mary. The babe, the Son of Mary.
and we celebrate another baby this morning. Bill and Linda James became great grandparents. She has on her phone the picture of beautiful little girl named Rory. So what child is this? It's Rory. So we all welcome Rory and we celebrate with both of you this beautiful new soul that's come to join your family. And now we're going to sing There Is Only Love. And as we do so, I invite you to look at this beautiful tree, because it was with love that it was put together, I understand, by David and Cherry and Bianca. So we'd have a Christmas tree this morning. So there is only love. It was done with love and it shimmers with love.
In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love.
Well, good morning, everybody. I invited Shakti up to start, so it may be easier that way, Shakti, while you're already here. She came to me, and I think it was right before Thanksgiving. She said, David, I want to read this poem that's in the Daily Word for the holidays, for Christmas. And I said, okay, we'll do that. Well, here we are. And we're going to do that right now. Is that correct?
And this is the kind of person I have standing next to me. He remembers a little detail like that and brings it to happen. That's our David, whom we love. So some of you may have noticed this poem in the Daily Word. It's by Dan Holloway. It's called The Christmas Symbol. The Christmas symbol is to some a star that shone the way to Bethlehem and to the manger where the Christ child lay. No greater love exists than that which brings us to a place where we can see in everyone the newborn baby's face. It lives within the Christ child, so it lives through you and me. It's God's great gift to all of us, the gift that sets us free from living in the darkness. It moves us to the sun as images of God mind, Christ in everyone. The symbol then for Christmas is more than stars that shine. It's more than bells or cards or snow. It truly is divine. The symbol is a heart of love we freely give away, a heart that lives in everyone always, not just one day. May you have a joyous Christmas time, and may you find the way to live and love and touch and see the Christ love every day. May truth and love live in your heart, for when your heart is true, then Christmas happens every day. The love of Christ as you.
I think that was Dan Holloway.
Yes.
I know he was at Winston's. Wow.
Hey, did you just take my glasses?
Yes.
Thank you. You're welcome. Yeah, I may remember some of those small details, but there's don't ask me what I had for breakfast. As you know, I go to Unity Village every year, and I've been going there for, I don't know, 12, 14 years now. And I have this group of people that come from all over the United States, and we get together, and there's like, well, 5 of us become really, really, really close friends. And one of the ladies is from Wisconsin, and she has dedicated her life and formed a nonprofit called Chicks with a Cause. And she's into helping women through the experience of breast cancer. And one of the things that she gives out is a number of pamphlets that are published by Unity about going through the grieving process and the health process and all that kind of stuff. And one of the books she gives out is this thing called Be Still and Know. And it's a daily devotional. And I want to read this thing called The Voice of Love. There's, the Course in Miracles says there's only 2 things going on here: fear and love. And we as humans, I think, because of all of our sensory pieces, our hear, our touch, our taste, our smell, our feelings all hooked in, we kind of get hung up on the fear side of things. And yet love is always there to pull us through. And I think that's really part of the message of this season. And that's certainly that poem, is to let that love and the light of Christ within pull us through those fearful spots. This is called The Voice of Love. Starts out with scripture from John. I have given them the glory that you gave me, so that they may be one as we are one. I am in them, and you are in me. May they experience the perfect unity that the world will know that you sent me and that you love them much more as you love me. Then it goes on. When we live from other voices, we will quickly become worn out and discouraged. Voices of fear, somebody else speaking, our own self-talk. Others people's expectations for how we should live, act, and be are sometimes unreachable. There's one voice that matters, however, and it can come from a variety of forms. It's the voice of God. What God tells us is that we are loved, we are cherished, and we add significant value. We are the beloved, her child, his beautiful creation. This is the voice that matters. This is the voice to come back to when we feel like we're just not enough. Sweet Spirit, help me to ignore the voices that don't matter. Nothing changes the love that you have for me. Today, I choose to sit and soak in that love. Amen to that. And it follows with the daily word. I answer the call to love, embracing the world. Love is both a noun and a verb. More than just a feeling, it is one of the highest intentions that I can hold, and one of the most sacred actions I can take. Love is the name and the nature of God, the pulsating oneness from the center of my heart to the furthest reaches of earthly existence. This third Sunday of Advent, love is also a call to action, an invitation to perceive the world through the Christ presence and live as the love that I am. I am open my heart and let love flow forth as kindness, gentleness, and compassion. I stay grounded in the presence of God through my prayers, and I radiate love through my kind words and actions. I trust my loving impulses, and I trust that they will reach far and wide. The light and joy I send forth grows and expands to encompass all things. And again from John, little children, let us love, not in word or speech, but in truth and action. I answer the call to love and embrace the world.
So we now join together in a time of prayer and meditation together, settling from this outer sanctuary we co-created together into the inner sanctuary of our own hearts and spirits, and then once again uniting out here to embody the spirit that we all are, the light that we all carry. Let us sing Sanctuary as we settle in this beautiful day.
Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, open-hearted, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I am a living sanctuary for you. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, open-hearted, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I am a living sanctuary for you.
And so settle into the sanctuary that is centered at the very core of your being. The place where your humanity and your divinity meet to commune, to share, to be. Allow this place to feel truly like a sanctuary. Let it take whatever shape and color and sound and essence will allow you to feel embraced with divine love right where you are and as you are. Love, the essential energy of the divine and of life itself. Always calling us to see it and feel it and be it. We are each called to be channels of love And so in this moment, open and allow there to be room in your heart for divinity to find a birthing place there in a new expression, a deepening expression, a continuation of the growth of your soul, but with new breath, with new energy, with new light. Feel this divine presence in, through, and as you in a moment of stillness now. You are joined in this birthing place just as the Christ child was, by others, by people who walk with you and hold you in love, by unknown people all around the world who send you prayers and unite with you in prayers for peace. You walk with the presence of the angels and the masters and the unseen ones who are with us always. You are present with those who help you experience your daily life and those who call you to open to new possibilities as they share music and books and movies and their own spiritual journey with you, that you might grow and express that light more clearly than ever. You are held in the very arms of Mother God and Father God, with all of their love and compassion and caring. You are a beloved child of God, a spark of the divine energy sent to be in this time and this place for truly a divine reason, called in service of light and of love. Rededicate yourself in this moment to the path of the Christ, the Atman, the Brahma, the Buddha, the wise ones. As you feel the overflowing energy of the divine radiating through the chalice of your heart, pour forth now with that loving compassion all the prayers that are yours this day, silently or aloud, however you are so guided. We unite these prayers with all of those entrusted to the High Watch prayer chaplains. We unite these prayers with all of those who pray for peace in our shared world. And this day, we hold in special light Bill and Linda and their family and sweet Rory, welcoming this new soul. And this day, we also hold the Gonzalez family in Mexico. Just before service, we discovered our daughter-in-law's father had passed away and returned to spirit this morning unexpectedly. And so we send Laurita and JR and Nicole and Danny and David and all of the family our love and support and blessings as his soul returns through that same doorway back to spirit. May he feel how blessed he was and how he blessed the world. And may all of those who bid him farewell feel our loving support and comfort. How blessed we are to walk this path with one another. So just give thanks in this moment that we are all giving birth to that divine presence in everything we do and in everything we are. As a blessing, as you go forth into the week, here is a nativity blessing. I invite you to let one of these lines be your mantra for the week. That growth, that support for that new spark of divine energy that you are nurturing in this very moment. A nativity blessing. May there always be room in your heart for divinity to find a birthing place there. May you be as holy as the angels, faithful as the shepherds, humble as the lambs, and wise as the magi. May you have the compassion of Mary and the understanding of Joseph. And may the blessing of the Christ child be yours, not because of his birth long ago, but because his love is born in you anew during this season of love and light. You are the presence of the divine. You are sanctuary. And together we co-create a sanctuary where all are welcomed, and we co-create a world that works for all. Sanctuary.
Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, open-hearted, tried and true, with thanksgiving. I am a living sanctuary for you. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, open-hearted, tried and true, with thanksgiving. I am a living sanctuary for you.
Blessings. I behold the divine in each and every one of you. And now a gift of special music from our own Ron and Kelly.
I wrote this song with the idea in mind that when we allow love to lead us, then it is love that will feed us. Sometimes it seems I'm not getting anywhere. One step forward, two steps back. But I hold inside the answer to it all. There's no such thing as what I lack. We're here to help, We're here to heal. We're here to find out what is real. And only love is real. Let love lead the way. Let love lead the way. Let love fill your day. Let love lead the way. Let love lead the way. Let love fill your day. What's ours to give is the greatest gift of all. From the seed to the bloom, and that which leads is that which feeds. Let love be all we ever choose. We're here to help, we're here to heal. We're here to find out what is real. And only love is real. Let love lead the way. Let love lead the way. Let love fill your day. Let love lead the way. Let love lead the way. Let love fill your day. I can choose how I feel, but only love is real. Let love lead the way. Let love lead the way. Let love fill your day. Let love lead the way. Let love lead the way. Let love fill your day. Let love lead the way. Let love lead the way. Let love fill your day. Let love lead the way.
Oh, wow. Thank you. And we're so glad that love led you two's way here to Port Townsend. Yay! That was absolutely what did it. Gosh, what a year and a half ago, I was here and somebody came in. And it was the two of them here on a visit from Texas, and we sat around the circle table and talked for probably an hour, hour and a half. And then miracles abounded, and Teresa helped them find a home, and love led the way. And so we're just so glad that you all came and brought your gifts. And it was even cooler because they came from Karen Tudor, who's one of my favorite classmates' churches down in Texas. So don't you love the way everything weaves together? I know Dan Holloway. He is the sweetest soul in the world. He's one of those people that looks like Christmas morning. You know how certain people just are kind of jolly, and he would smile, and that perfectly captures Dan and the way he looks at life and he lives life. So know when those are read from Unity, there are some amazing souls behind every daily word you read, behind the Advent guide you read, behind the poems and the passages and the articles. And we are so blessed to be part of such an amazing spiritual movement. Oh, well, this Sunday is about love. We're using the Advent guide that comes from Unity, and this Sunday is love. And I've always loved talking about love. How's that for synchronicity? Love is the essential energetic power of the universe. We tend to think of love, particularly in this season, as a Hallmark card or a Hallmark movie, where they have a challenge and then they get through it, and then they have another challenge and they get through it, and then it's all over because there's one more giant challenge, and then they get through it and it all ends up happy. And they wrap it all up with a bow. That's one expression of love. Can't you think of times in your life where it's felt like that? Where amazing things have happened. But there are other times love is a more tender, challenging journey. It's the tenderness that welcomes a newborn baby into the family, like Mary and Joseph did with the baby. But it's also the tenderness with which we return souls back to the spirit from whence they came. It's harder to do that one. But it's this incredible blessing to realize the eternality of the soul and the eternality of love. Love is the greatest power in the universe. It's the greatest commandment. If you do nothing else, Jesus says love, and then everything else will fall into place. It's that peace that passes all understanding. It's the love is the wisdom that can guide you when your ego self might take you a bit astray. Jean Houston calls it evolutionary energy par excellence. Love is what calls us out of ourselves and into the lives of others and into our world. Love is what lets us go from who we were to who we yet can be. It's the people that we love, that we connect with, that we grow with, that we learn from, that we share with. That love is what truly transforms us and transforms our world. Charles Fillmore called it the harmonizing power of the universe. And I love that. It's harmonizing. It's not saying everybody has to play the same note and be the same. It's taking that diversity and letting each be such a clear expression of who they are that you can create music and harmony out of it rather than discord. And we all know, I've talked before about listening to a symphony warm up, that disharmony is they're all just doing their own parts and not paying any attention to each other. But then when the conductor gets them centered and signals, amazing sounds come out of that cacophony, and it becomes beautiful because they're moving of one accord. So love is the one thing that can change everything. Emmett Fox says, if you have enough love, you will be happy and powerful enough to change the world. It's love that changes everything. Mary and Joseph and the baby are the classic symbol of love. The love that Mary and Joseph had for one another and had for the child that came from their union. And personally, I love the fact that Joseph is not the biological father, but is the earthly father in spirit that cares for, protects, and walks with the child. It's a reminder that family, from that ancient time to now, family is not just biological. It's spiritual, it's choice, it's caring. Who do you choose to have be part of your family? I know I have people in my life who aren't biologically connected to me, but who are my children completely 100%. I have friends that are family, that are my soul brothers and sisters. You all are my family. We're each other's family. And so this co-creative energy of Mary and Joseph creating this child is part of us living and being present in the world and co-creating ourselves. Mary's mantra comes from the Magnificat, the beautiful piece that's found in the Gospel of Luke when Gabriel comes and tells her she's going to have a child. And it's like, say what? Can you imagine standing in your kitchen here in Port Townsend and an angel appears and says, guess what? You're going to have a child. The miraculous breaking through into the mundane of her kitchen. Spirit can do that for all of us. The miraculous can appear and meet us right where we are in the most ordinary as well as in the most extraordinary of circumstances. Her mantra is, my soul magnifies the Lord. Because once she really gets it and says, yes, I'll do it. It says, let my soul magnify the Lord. Let me take this miraculous spiritual love and magnify it out and share it with the world, which is exactly what she did. She shared it with her own child through his entire life. She was the one who was there from the birth all the way through his death and ascension, with him as the presence of love. Joseph's mantra comes from when he's talked to by the angels in dreams and says, take Mary as your wife, raise this child as your own. And I'm sure he woke up in the morning going, whoa, was that a weird dream? Where did that come from? But he listened. And so his mantra is heed the call. When the call comes to you, be willing to say yes. I remember one of the things that Sharon Meddy says, that when she asks people if they'll help, she always asks 3 times because you're only allowed to say no twice. So will you do this? No. Will you do this? No way. 3rd time, will you do this? Yes. Yes. Heeding the call. That happened to me in my call for ministerial school. The first time it came, I was like, are you kidding me? I can't be a minister. No way. And then it came again. And I was like, no, I enjoy life too much. I'm from Texas, where these fundamentalist ministers told everybody that God was scary and awful and judging you, and you weren't supposed to dance or do music or play cards. And luckily, I never went to those, but it was the milieu in which I grew up. And it was like, oh, if I'm going to be a minister, I'm going to have to be very serious and pious and not have too much fun anymore. And then Spirit said, are you kidding me? What's wrong with this picture? If you're connected with the divine, you should be full of love and joy and peace. You should have fun. And so it was the 3rd time, Easter Sunday, at the Black church in Kansas City, that a man who became one of my instructors did the Easter service, and my dad came to me during the meditation, and I said, well, I'm thinking about applying. And he said, honey, fly. It's your turn. Fly. Do it. No, yes. Not an unusual pattern. But our daily word today reminded us that love is not only a noun, it's also a verb. And so it's recognizing the oneness, but then it's responding to the call to action of what are you going to do with it? So just remember that whether you like it or not, you can say no twice, but the third time the universe will knock on your door again, and you will find some tiny part of your heart responding with a yes, and it will grow over time. Because love calls us to be more who we've been sent to be. Each one of us is a unique soul. We tend to compare each other, but each one of us is unique. It's a unique spark of the divine. And so we each get to do and be the note in the music of the universe that is uniquely ours. In the Advent reading for today, talked about the power of music. And she shared about the wonderful Christmas truce that took place during World War I. And I've spoken about it different Christmases. And I've always loved that story. And she talked about how important music is for her always, but particularly during the Christmas season. And I think that's so true. Music is something that is a common language that transcends words, and it's shared humanity. There have been some of the things on the internet that I've loved, where there's a particular song, and then people all over the world record a line of it, and then they hook them all together. And you've got these images of people literally all over the world singing the same song with a message of love and hope. Do you remember the Coke ad in the late 60s, early 70s, when the country was in tremendous turmoil and polarized? I'd like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. Remember that? We all knew it. We sang it. And I remember loving the commercial because there were people from all over the world in it. That song was a call to unite during a time of great difficulty. I'll never forget hearing on the night of 9/11, the concert that spontaneously arose that night. And I think it was Neil Young that sat at the piano, simple hymn with the piano, and played and sang Imagine. I sang along at home and wept. That song, Imagine, is one of those that went viral with people all over the world singing lines that I saw. Go on YouTube and look for Imagine, the world singing of Imagine. It was all these voices harmonizing and coming together. Well, there was a wonderful story that I mentioned a moment ago, the Christmas truce. It took place in 1914 in Ypres, Belgium. It was on Christmas Eve, the midst of World War I. There were Germans over here, there were Brits over here, on either side of what they called no man's land. That when you cross that was where the battle was. That's where everyone was killed. They were on either sides. And suddenly, the Brits looked across and they started seeing lights over there. And normally, if you're in battle and you're across from the enemy, you don't want to turn on your lights. They were literally hiding in trenches, but they lit candles and matches, and they held up lights, and they were lighting candles on a tree. And then the Brits began to hear something come across no man's land. And it was the sound of the Germans singing Silent Night in German, in their native language. And it came across and met the Brits where they were down in their trenches. And so they lit lights and they sang back in English. And in the midst of no man's land, the two languages harmonized, singing the song Silent Night, which is a call to embodying the Christ child and love and peace in the midst of this horrific war. And so at dawn, they sang other carols during the night, but Silent Night is the famous one that started it all. A few of the German soldiers stuck their heads out and they crawled out of their trenches and walked into no man's land. The Brits did the same thing. They ended up, the truce spread down the line as people were courageous enough to step up and to step into this place of shared harmony and peace and celebration of the birth of the Christ child. From different sides of the war, different culture, different languages, it went down the trenches, and before you knew it, they were all out there. They shared their food. They played a game of soccer, apparently appropriately called football, I have learned. They spent that whole day celebrating together. They chatted, they showed each other pictures of their families, and they realized several of them had people that they knew in common, even though they were on opposite sides of the war. Two people there for sure had experiences of, oh, I know that person, that's your uncle? It showed how interwoven we always are. And so at the end of the day, they went back their separate ways. They gathered their weapons and they went off. They did not fight anymore together on that battlefield. By New Year's, a full truce had been established. And in 2014, it was the 100th year celebration of it. And I saw on the morning show, CBS morning show, they held a celebration at that spot where this took place. And a British woman and a German man whose ancestors were part of that moment participated together in the service and embraced as they celebrated the miracle of the Christmas truce and all it represented. A beautiful moment of realizing that we have far more in common than we have different. We tend to focus on the differences when we actually have far, far more in common. And as I was working on this, I found myself remembering a moment where Jesus was on a field and called forth an invitation of love, like the singing of Silent Night, and it was the feeding of the 5,000. All these people had gathered in this field to experience Jesus's teachings and to hear him. And the disciples came and said, we need to send everybody back into town. We don't have any food for dinner. There was no Domino's pizza to call. Send them back into town. Tell them to come back tomorrow. And Jesus said, no, they've come for spiritual food. Will not send them away because of a lack of outer food. The disciples are going, well, then what are you going to do? Well, he invited them to step out in love. What he did was he gathered up the loaves and the fishes that he had. And the first thing he did was he blessed them. I love that. He gathered up what people had and were willing to share. And it was very little, but instead of going, oh my gosh, that's not enough, he said, thank you, and yes. And he lifted it up and he blessed it. And then he took the basket and they passed it through all of the people again. Well, the traditional interpretation of that is that he did a miracle with the loaves and the fishes, and he physically manifests more bread and more fish for everybody. I can't quite imagine how big the basket would have had to be for that much fish and that much bread, even several baskets. But do I believe that's possible? Absolutely. I think he was so connected to the flow of spirit that he could take the rigid physical form that's like ice and turn it into flow of water, bring in the presence of spirit like steam and transform it, and then send it back out in a new form. I believe he could do that, but I think he did something even more important than that. They were there for spiritual food most of all. I think what he did was like the truce. He said, let's have a truce here. People didn't trust each other. They all had food and money and all hidden in their cloaks and in their shoes because they were all afraid. Remember, it's a choice between fear or love. They were afraid there wouldn't be enough. So they all held on to what they had. But as the basket went around, he invited them to become conscious that they were all one, that they had more in common than they had different, that the child that was sitting over here was worthy of the bread they had hidden in their cloaks. And I believe the greatest miracle of all was that he called them into doing that living action of love that Silent Night called the soldiers to, that we're called to this day. And so he welcomed it, he blessed it, and then he invited them to be part of it. And they did. The baskets were passed. Everyone had plenty to eat. And to me, the greatest miracle was he invited them to have faith, to be in a place of peace, and to love one another with such power that they would share all that they had, all that they were, all that they ever would have, like we pray each Sunday. So it's about love is not just a romantic thing. It's not just a quiet and peaceful thing. It's not a wild, passionate thing on the dance floor. It's all of those. But most of all, love is what invites us into life, into relationship, into a communion with one another, with our world, and with spirit. I don't think there's anything more important than that. Recognize the oneness that love calls us to, that harmonizing energy of the universe, and then play your instrument. Saint Francis, let me be an instrument of your peace. Let us all be instruments of that divine, where we let ourselves do the things, say the things, be the things that will express love in action visible to one another. I've always loved the practice of random acts of kindness. This is a perfect season to do random acts of kindness. Call someone, send someone a card, spend some time in prayer for someone. Listen to music and let it open your heart. Go walk at North Beach in the midst of the beauty of nature and let it enliven you at a level of embodiment and manifested love. So love is the most important of all. It's the greatest commandment. It is the essence of the divine, but it's also the essence of us when we have the courage to live. Catherine de Hook Doherty put it this way: we are called to incarnate Christ in our lives, to clothe our lives with him so that people can see him in us, touch him in us, recognize him in us. Let us love, call us forward, and let us enjoy this season of love and light with hearts overflowing with gratitude and with grace. Let us pray. Sweet, sweet Spirit, abiding presence of the divine. Oh, we go forth blessed and blessing, willing to give and receive love in new, amazing, and wondrous ways that break through our mundane with the miraculous, that remind us how blessed we are to be embodied in the world here and now, for and with one another. As a closing blessing, a wonderful piece that I rediscovered yesterday that came from Robert Farrell's Wellspring column, his Wellspring column on December the 7th, 2020. May the light of 1,000 suns shine through. Live the life of grace you were meant to. Carry the light of God's love into the world. Be the open heart the earth longs for. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for your willingness. Thank you for allowing us all to walk side by side as together we co-create a world that works for all. And so it is. Om, amen, and blessed be. And now loving kindness, perfect song, loving kindness, love embodied, love as a noun and a verb.
May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. And may I be happy. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be peaceful and at ease. And may you be happy. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be peaceful and at ease. And may we be happy. May all be filled with loving kindness. May all be well. May we be peaceful and at ease. And may all be happy.
There is someone who represents loving kindness in so many ways, our beloved Clara. And I meant to include her during the prayer time, but I realized this is the perfect moment. She is loving kindness, and she has gone to be that presence of loving kindness with her family. Her sister made her transition back to spirit this last week. It was expected, and it was a blessing in many ways. And so we send Clara our love and our blessings as she is loving kindness for her family this weekend.
So this is the time in our service where we receive the offering. So I invite you to take your offering out as we do here each week. I guess this is the loaves and fishes time. So we use money as our way of expressing. It's a good way of doing the transition or transformation. But it's what's in your heart that counts. So let's place our tithes, our treasures our talents and our hearts, and bless it as we do here each week. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I see, and I am grateful. Ron, do we have a song for this?
Yeah, we're going to do First Noel.
First Noel, perfect.
The first Noel, the angels did say, was to certain poor shepherds in fields as they lay, in fields where they lay keeping their sheep on a cold winter's night that was so deep. Noel, 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 born is the King of Israel. They looked up and saw a star shining in the east beyond them far, and to the earth it gave a great light, and so it continued both day and night. Noel, 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 born is the King of Israel.
I love it. It's Christmas.
You know, it's really nice having the choir there too.
Yes,
Huh?
it is.
Sweet. Thank you, choir. Mother, Father, God, sweet, sweet Spirit, thank you. Thank you for the reminder of this season. Thank you for the reminder of the love that we are. And let this season of light also be the season of light for everybody on the whole planet, that they may experience the light that they are, the love that they are, express that love. We are here with intentionality. We are worthy. We are worthy to have a world that works for all. Each one of us, no matter color, creed, or choice, we are worthy. So we send these gifts forward with that intention, that each one of us experience our worthiness, experience that love, and create heaven on earth. And let us do that in our lifetime. And so it is. Amen. All right. Well, guess what? It's that wonderful time. It's that wonderful time of the year again. Oh. It reminds me of a Christmas movie that keeps coming over and over and over again. Announcements. Well, there's a lot of stuff going on, obviously, and not to make light of any of it. And this is also a time of year when oftentimes we are all asked to support those that are less fortunate than us. And here's a little basket that we used, actually a little bit different basket than we used for Thanksgiving, but this has the same intention. Those families that are in crisis this season, that are homeless for some reason, whatever happened is not for us to know about or care about. What it really is care about them as a family. And so we ask for your contributions, and we provide them Christmas dinner. We've got 8 families that we do that with. And so I'll put it right here. And for the next 2 Sundays and Christmas Eve, and or next 2 Sundays, because we're going to need to get the gift certificates to them by Christmas Eve. So there's one opportunity. Man, we're full of opportunities here. Let's see here. let's go for the fun parts and we'll go back to opportunities. Next Sunday, and what time are we going to start this? 4 o'clock. Next Sunday is our annual White Elephant Gift Exchange. And this is a practice of non-attachment. So this, we honor all paths, and we'll honor the Buddhist path of non-attachment. What it asks you to do, if you want to participate, is to bring a wrapped gift. It's something that you want to pass on out of your life. You don't have to go out and buy it. You can if you want, but I bet everybody has something in their closet. They go, you know what? This needs a new home. And we will make that opportunity at 4 o'clock here on next Sunday. Oh, I got 4 o'clock. Is it 3 o'clock? Oh, excuse me. It is 3 o'clock. That's right. I'm looking at Christmas Eve. So 3 o'clock. Yes, 3 o'clock. Thank you for the reminder, whomever, or the whole audience. So we got that going on. And then that's next Sunday. Next Wednesday is the play at Key City. I didn't bring those flyers up. They're on the back table. So it's called New Moon, A Dog's Tale, Tale. And I've had only good reviews from people that have seen it. And I've also encouraged them to come back and see it again on Wednesday night, the 21st, because that's our benefit. And the benefit supports the building. And we just got done rebuilding part of the heating system. The monitors, we figured out what the problem with that was. So all of that costs money as we get the technicians to come in and out. That's what we do, is we raise our funds. And the cool thing is we can invite our friends and they can help pay for our building, which is really neat. So take those flyers. On the back of the flyer is how you can buy a ticket or notify us of a ticket, so that we make sure we don't overshoot 77 seats. It's all of the households. And it's a great evening. It's a great event. And it's on the solstice, so it's all good, right? So we got that coming up. And then, of course, Christmas Eve on the 24th, and that is at 4 o'clock, by the way. So, and then Christmas morning, we have a service at 11 o'clock that'll be here, so feel free to join with that. As we get ready for the new year, and we'll talk about the Burning Bowl and New Year's Eve service next week. We have, as you know, our fundraiser going on for the end of the year giving, and it's in the form of a virtual online festival of lights. And you can go from a shining light to an angel in 4 different stages of contribution. So go to the website, it's all there, and choose what you like to give if you can. And we'll see if we can't shine up this Christmas tree. So far, we've got $2,500 already raised. Our goal is $10,000. So we're a quarter of the way there. So that's pretty good. Yes. Yes. Each of when you make a donation, you can say it to somebody, or it can just be because you want to make a donation. So if there's somebody you want to honor, just put that in the tagline when you buy it, or let Beverly know. Somehow you got to let somebody know so Beverly can put it on the tree. But yes, very much.
People in our lives and to honor them. And I'm going to put forth the challenge. You ready? This week, I invite each and every one of you, whether you're here in person or you've joined us on Zoom, to go into a few moments of prayer and focus on love and how much you love Unity and all the people who are here. And I invite each and every one of you to do some gift to our Festival of Lights tree this week. Let's come back next Sunday and be amazed at how the miraculous has broken through the mundane It can be small, it can be grand, it can be an angel, but let it be gifted with love from your heart to all of our hearts. So I invite each of you this week, do an act of love for unity and be part of our Festival of Lights. That's not too painful, is it?
No, there we go. And all the other events that occur here, the various groups that do meditations, we have the Wednesday meditation and prayer. It's on the website. So just go to the website. And if you're curious, click on the tab and it'll tell you you can be here or you can go by Zoom or whatever the case might be. So with that, let's join in a circle as we prepare to close our service.
Ready? Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, united all are we. Yes, we walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, peace begin with me. Yes, this is the moment now. With every breath I take, yes, this is my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Yes, there is peace on earth, then yes, it begins with me.
And we know the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Yes. And so go forth, blessing, blessing. I love doing this. Woo! There goes our bowl. Energy of love and blessings going out. Have a wonderful week.